the official start, I look at the clock there, 12:15. So good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Welcome to the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Barrie. A special welcome to our visiting Rotarians and any special guests. Things go better when you are here. We'll start the meeting with O Canada and a toast to the Queen. If we all rise.
See? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot, and all our sons command. With glowing hearts, we see the light of true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on God for lead. Oh, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for lead. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for lead.
Lovely.
Toast to the Queen.
Those are the grandchildren I haven't seen since October.
Oh, so adorable. I just love that your grandson doesn't even flinch with the flag waving in front of his face. He's just totally into the song. So we have some visiting guests. I call upon Sue Croft. Where is Sue?
Good afternoon, President Deb.
Good afternoon.
Happier New Year to you all. I'm very pleased to welcome Taylor Curry as a guest today.
Welcome, Taylor. Doug.
President Deb, my guest today is Tanya Sari.
Welcome, Tanya. Now I see Rob Murphy.
Yes.
That's my guest, President Deb. More about Rob Murphy later.
Okay, just you were noticed. So, any other guests? Any other visiting Rotarians? Kind of scan through. No. Well, welcome. Certainly hope you enjoy the time with us, and you're always welcome to come back and visit. Oh, we have. So our Beacon editor this week is Al Mallory. So making any announcements, which right now I do not have any announcements. So I'm hoping, Paul, I saw you put a hand up. You have an announcement, and I'll keep that in mind. And then send a note to Al if you do have anything you want to get into the Beacon. And many thanks to Darren. I know you had a challenging Beacon last week with trying to keep track of everything for moose milk, but great job. So do we have announcements? Paul, you put your hand up. Do you have something?
Yeah, President Deb, I just wanted to have a good news announcement. My daughter on Christmas Day was engaged. Not completely unexpected, but it's now in the books, and I will have a son-in-law at some point in the next year or two. And we're quite excited. He's a great guy, and they're a good fit. And you know, life carries on. She's quite excited.
Oh, congratulations. It's nice to have great news.
Absolutely.
Any other announcements? Do we have an update on Santa from December? Anybody can tell us how that went?
Is Brian here, President Deb?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of scanning through here.
If not, I can give an update.
No, I don't see Brian online.
Brian? Well, President Deb, I can just, on Brian's behalf, say that it was a success on many different factors. That from a financial side, we raised just over $1,800, which is not too bad. And I think on maybe on a more positive note, we made a lot of little kids smiles and a lot of parents' hearts glow. We had a lot of great comments and feedback, and I really appreciate the Santas. I know they put in a lot of work and took it very seriously. I'm going to forget Peter Lorimer. We had Doug Lewis. Oh my gosh. Now I'm Jody, incoming President Jody. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting a couple at the moment. but overall, I think it went well, and I think that there'll be an opportunity to do it again next year. Even if we're back to some sort of normal, I think there might be an appetite for this. So look forward to doing it again next year.
Oh, that's great. Thanks so much, and thanks for all the Santas. Do we have a story? Maybe a quick story.
There were actually a couple. I want to just highlight what Peter Lorimer was doing, and sort of the feedback we got on some. So the way it worked is somebody would sign up for a date or time, and then an email would automatically go to the Santa to say you have an appointment at 4:10 tomorrow afternoon, what have you, and it would list the contact information and the information about what the parent had provided for what the kid was looking for next year or for Christmas. But what Peter would do was actually call the parent beforehand and get some extra information, and so that to make the appointment even more special. And what he told me he did, what was hard was it was every 10 minutes were the slots. And so sometimes the kid with the first few minutes would be quite quiet because they were a little bit in shock and awe. And then for the last 5 minutes, they get all chitter chatty and wanted to talk to Santa, but Santa would have to cut them off. And so Peter had a routine where during the conversation, he would look off camera and talk to his elves that there was a disturbance in the pen with the reindeers. And when it got close to 10 minutes, he would say, what was that? What was that? Oh no, I have to go because the reindeers just got out of their stall. I'm sorry to cut this short, and would give a reason to have to exit the call. So apparently that was well received by Peter. So kudos for Peter and in his working with the kids.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much, Ian, for sharing that. One thing about not being in person is we don't get to sit around tables and share these awesome stories, but I think this is one of the pluses out of the experience of, more Zooms is this type of thing. So congratulations to all. Jody, I see a hand up. We can't hear you, Jody. Okay, well, you figure that out, Jody, or if you want to send me a note and I'll read it. Allison, you want to make an announcement?
I just want to remind the club president, Debbie, about the Healthcare Award, and we're looking for nominees for that new award to recognize someone who's done some outstanding work in their field with some recognition of funds that they could use to increase the morale for the people that they're working with. I have the nomination form, hoping to get that up on the website, but can also send it out by email too.
Wonderful. Now, the Al Hopper Award.
Yes, I've got that on the list too.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okie doke. Are you ready now?
I am.
Why don't we do it now?
Let's do it. Okay. Rotarians and guests and President Debbie, excited to have Bob Murphy on our Zoom call today. Bob is the recipient of this year's Al Hopper Friend of Rotary Award. Bob was nominated by Doug Manning and by Kelly Best for the work that he did on the global grant application for the school in Haiti that we've been working on for a number of years now. Bob is from Los Altos, California, and he's not a member of the Rotary Club there. He simply had an interest in helping out on this project and jumped in with both feet, so I'm told, assisted in providing background research about Haitian statistics regarding literacy rates, unemployment figures, income figures, and the attitudes in Haiti towards female employment and education. This was all necessary information that had to go into the global grant application. And if any of you have worked on these global grants, you know how laborious they can be with the detail that's required for that. The grant application involved the installation of a solar electric system at the school in Haiti, and the establishment of a telehealth medical clinic at the school. So Bob put in many, many, many hours, estimated easily over 100 hours in the last couple of years, to help get this information in order for us to work on finishing the completion of the global grants application. So congratulations, Bob. Thanks for joining us today. And we're so pleased to have you here to recognize all the efforts on this global grant application.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you. And thank you, Doug and Kelly, for both nominating me for this really important award, as well as being partners on this important project. I can't say enough about Allison and club members, the work that Doug and Kelly have done on this application as well. It's really been a team effort. I got involved through my daughter's involvement in the Haiti Solidarity Club within her high school, Los Altos High School, and visited Haiti twice with the high school club and the social science teacher who has been visiting Haiti for over a decade with members of the student club. So I was very fortunate to go 2 consecutive years, my daughter's freshman and sophomore year. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, the trip was canceled because of political unrest. And then this year, just unsafe security situation on the ground, plus COVID. But we're very committed to seeing the project through. There's a tremendous need, as you all know, for education, training, and supporting community organizations like the one that's led by Rhea Dahl and her team in Port-au-Prince, who are doing tremendous work for the people in Port-au-Prince. So it's easy to stay committed, and it was, it's an honor to be able to participate. The Rotary Club in Los Altos is very involved in supporting, along with, I know, the Barrie Club, Barrie Ontario Club, in supporting the work of Rhea Dahl and the schools and the other work that she's fostering in Port-au-Prince. And it was through that connection with the Los Altos Rotary that I got connected, to other Rotarians who are supporting Rhea in Haiti and her work. I just wanted to add that although not a Rotarian, I was a Rotarian ambassadorial scholar when I lived on the East Coast and worked for a large defense firm in Connecticut in my former career. And I was sponsored by the West Hartford Rotary Club and spent a year studying in Ireland, Trinity College. And with my last name being Murphy, it was very easy to get around, and something I always look forward to, being able to spend a extended period of time in Ireland, and Rotary gave me the chance to do that. I was also a member of a group study exchange, a Rotary group study exchange back in 1992 that I was selected for that, again, by the West Hartford Rotary Club. I had a friend who was a member of that club. And I spent the month of May in '92 in southern Germany, in Baden-Württemberg, being hosted by 4 different families and 4 different clubs in regions of southern Germany. And it was a phenomenal experience. So it was another reason why once I knew that I would be working with Rotarians on this project, I knew that it was going to be, I was going to be working with people who were committed and just good people whose heart and mind were in the right place.
Oh,
Thanks, Bob.
thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that with us. We certainly hold the Al Hopper Award in high esteem, and congratulations from all of us on a amazing effort in helping Haiti get to where it needs to be.
My pleasure.
We all applaud. We kind of have to look at the screens.
Thank you.
If we were in person, this would be the point when we all stood up and applauded as well. So you're missing your standing ovation.
The plaque arrived yesterday.
Oh, excellent. Oh. Well, you'll have to come back when we are back in person so we can say a special thank you again in person.
I would love to.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Oh, any other announcements? Something? No. Then we're right into birthdays and anniversaries. So we have a few birthdays. Cyrus Hang, January 7th. Larry Pomfret, January 11th. And Allison Dirtnell, January 12th. We have no club anniversaries, or sorry, no married anniversaries, but we do have club anniversaries. So we have Sebastian Asselbergs, 22 years, David Mills, 23 years, Bernie Still, 34 years, Louise Jones, 7 years, Randy Maxim, 29 years, Earl Graham, 19 years, and Cyrus Wang, 3 years. Jeff.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. Ding dong.
Okay. I love those. So for birthday and for anniversary, as you know, you get a special donation made to the Polio Plus and the Polio Plus organization that's helping the fight for COVID. So a certificate there is, and congratulations to all. Eric, SAA Eric, where are you?
Unmuting now. And getting a phone call at the same time.
Here is timing. I bet you it's just another Rotarian trying to get you.
It could be. It could be. Maybe it's an SAA or former SAA. Hey, President Deb and Rotarians. I do have a couple of things on the SAA calendar today. You'll find us challenged, of course, because we're not in the same room currently, Jeff and Deb and I. So you may see a few more technical glitches as we figure out how to work at all remote on this. But let's give this a shot. Jeff, you want to screen share the PowerPoint and we'll take a shot at Brandon. So Brandon's not with us today, but his hairdo is certainly continuing to grow. The intention had actually been to do Brandon's cut today, but of course, lockdown has put personal services offline. And so Brandon's just going to get longer and longer and shaggier and shaggier. So we had the pleasure of seeing him on our committee meeting last night on Zoom. So the donations are now at more than $2,400, not $14,000 that's showing up there. That was a typo on the original post on for this Facebook piece. So you've still got opportunity to get in there, make a donation to the club, and decide or put your vote in on what kind of cut you'd like to see from Brandon. What's really neat is that a lot of his colleagues at Sargent Company and even supply chain and customers and suppliers have been putting their bids in. So Brandon's got quite a lot of folks invested in this cut. So please get online. We'll make sure that that's in the beacon for you. And we just sent out an email this week on that. So nothing extra on that, President Deb, unless you have any encouragements there.
Just get out there. Personally, I'd love to see either like some crazy bowl cut, as I'm seeing in the chat, or 2 stages, a bowl cut just to have the pictures and then going bald. I think that'll be awesome. I put mine in.
There's a fair bit of bidding on the sergeant's side for an orange mohawk. Good Sergeant Orange. So we'll see how those ones go. All right, Jeff, let's go to the next one. This one's just a little bit of an update, President Deb, on the Rotary car rally. So Rotary did a great job with this. They did end up generating more than $1,000. Lots went to Youth Haven, which is terrific. And most of the participants were our club members. So see here, you've got Alan Mallory's family participating. One of the things that was quite fun in this is we also had a lot of our own members as winners. Marshall Green won McDonald's Cheer for the Year. John Laking won McDonald's prize. I won a Sergeant's Fuel card. Alan Mallory, I think you won the dental hygienist. And I believe Lisa Dennis did as well, if I'm correct, Wayne. Am I remembering that right? So lots of winners from the club, which is was great to see. I would certainly encourage any of those winners to make a small donation either to Brandon's Haircut or the SAA fund. President Deb, any thoughts from you on that?
I think, yeah, just get out there. Let's see what we can get for Brandon, and really excited to see what Brandon's going to look like soon.
All right, next one, Jeff. Now this one, was the self-declared good news vehicle announcement from Scott Elliott. He's not on the line, so we'll come back to find him on this one, but he was quite proud of this new trailer, particularly the way it hooked up to his Lexus, which is probably not something you see on the road every day. So we'll come back to Scotty when he's here.
I want to know what's in the trailer.
That's a good point. That's definitely got to come back to us.
Yeah, you don't get that trailer for like no reason. There's got to be either snowmobiles in there or something he's hiding.
Absolutely. Jeff, take us to the next one, and then can you make me a co-host? All right, so here we've got a couple that are hanging around from December. I noticed RF and Mallory were on the line. This looked an awful lot to me like a bribe of Santa, and I may have misread the situation, but I wonder if RF and Mallory can tell us really what was going on here when them giving gifts to Santa.
Well, President Debbie and SAA Eric, first of all, Merry belated Christmas and Happy New Year to you. And I'm shocked. I'm a little bit hurt at the implication that there would be any bribery involved whatsoever. I'm no longer in politics, so I just don't see the connection. And it was purely, I can assure you, President Debbie, it was purely Mallory and mine and the team at SIVA, if I'm allowed to say, because I mean this is just setting the stage for you, doing our part to ensure that that millions of children around the world received the fun, the fortune, the glory, and the joy of receiving a token from Santa. And SIVA was pleased to work in partnership with Paul Markle and his fantastic team at the Barrie Chamber of Commerce and a number of other entities locally to do our part to help, because
I'm going to cut you off. I want to say something. I just blame the kid in the picture.
Yes.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, President Debbie, how can you? I mean, did you see the look on that young child's face? How could you ever suggest anything untoward was going on when you have that sweet innocence of a 3-year-old there?
Yeah, that's not going to buy it.
No.
No.
Do I need to try harder?
You can try, but I think Mallory had it much better. And the chat line there is talking about, are you a politician or something? Just for that, I think that deserves a $5 fine.
That's good. And that's a good cheap fine for the amount
think
of
your kids
branding
should
that's
pay
showing
it.
up on those masks as well.
That's fine, President Debbie. I will break my child's piggy bank and take the $5 from there.
I'm
Thank
not.
you very much.
All right, next one, Jeff. We've got some more Santa stuff going on here. So Kaylee, I saw that you're on the line. Do you have a new client? It looks like you're representing Santa here.
Hello and Happy New Year, President Deb and Sergeant at Arm Eric. I am happy to have a volume today so I can respond. We were considering taking Santa on as a client until he made some very bad lawyer jokes during our interview. So we decided it just wasn't a good fit. And while we were happy to support the chamber, he is not officially a client of our firm. So.
What do you think, Deb? What do you want to do here for Kaylee refusing to represent Santa? That's a pretty big deal.
Well, being that she is a lawyer and you just never know when you need a lawyer, and she had to suffer through lawyer jokes, I think we'll give her a Christmas break.
Ooh, nice.
Much appreciated. And if they'd been good lawyer jokes, I would have appreciated them, but they fell a little bit flat. He even said so. He cut them from the reel. So.
While we're on the topic of Christmas, I've got a quick poll for you. I've been seeing a lot of Christmas decorations still up, so I wanted to ask you a question here. So the poll is up. Have you already removed your Christmas or seasonal decorations? I've got you 3 opportunities there. Nope, you need all the inspiration we can get this year. Yep, moving on into 2021, or it's a work in progress. Looks like a lot of early decoration removal. That's good. We got 46 votes so far. Going to give it a couple more seconds. All right, end of polling and sharing the results. There we are. 69% have already removed their decorations, and the rest are a work in progress and still needing their inspiration. You'll see my virtual background still shows decorations. So does my real life tree. It's still up because we're still enjoying the sparkles at the moment. But thanks for letting us know that. We're trying to use poll as much as we can so we can have some fun and engage with each other on this. And I think that's it for our Christmas elements. So Jeff, take us back to the deck again. Okay, this was one I wanted to get to before Christmas. I caught this screenshot about Rotarians talking charity. So I saw that Paul's on the line, RF's here, Chris is here. Tell us a little bit about what this is all about. What are you guys talking charity?
I'm not sure if you want me to talk, President Deb, or if you want Arif to go on for an hour. I'm thinking that he's a better choice.
I think he's just, on the chat line over there saying, he's a little upset that he's, didn't get off like the lawyer did, but maybe if he hired Kaylee, he would have done better with his fine. But you can go ahead there, Paul.
So one of our many webinars that we've been running through this whole COVID period was one we did relating to how to involve your business with a charity. So we had the food bank on and Arif giving us his expert advice in billing in time. And we had a really good discussion about how to get your businesses involved. And it was probably one of our best webinars this year, really engaging conversation. And again, Rotary came up, and again, it's all about doing well and doing good within the community.
And Chris Van Niekerk, you're on there. What were you talking about?
Hi, Sergeant Arms Eric and President Deb. No, Paul invited me for that. I got to talk about a little bit of tax type stuff, charitable registration type stuff. So it was fun to be a part of it.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, President Deb, what do you think? These guys are probably doing something relatively valuable in the community. Do you want to find them or give them a pass?
No, I think we give them a pass for the great work they do.
All right, I think we got maybe one more there. Jeff, what do you got?
And I am loving the look on Arif's face as, all these passes are going by. So that's just an added bonus if you take a look over there.
It's nice that Jonathan keeps his Facebook up to date, because I get a chance to nail him from time to time. So as you can see on the screen, Jonathan was teaching his kids about playing hooky to go skiing before the lockdown. Jonathan, is that a four-way test infraction?
No, I don't think so, Eric. I was President Deb and SAA Eric. I don't think so. I was very honest and transparent. It was fair to everybody involved. I made sure all my clients were booked in around that date, and it certainly is a valuable lesson that life is not all about money, but what you do with your money and the joy that it brings. So I think it was a perfect example of how to properly apply the four-way test, actually.
Ooh, pretty well done, President Deb. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he did consult with Kaylee before. That does sound rather perfected. But being that the ski hills are closed and, he had to take advantage of it when he could, because right now I know my pass is just sitting in the pocket. So I think good work, and glad you enjoyed the day with the kids.
Score. Thank you, President Deb.
All right, I got one last thing, President Deb. I just noticed on the chat that, Marta, we get to congratulate you for and celebrate Ukrainian Christmas with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and eating today?
So the big meals usually on Christmas Eve, which is last evening. My mom did send some pierogies, and then I spoke to everyone on the phone. So the traditional meal, you have pierogies, cabbage rolls, borscht, fish, and honey cake or poppy seed cake for dessert.
Nice. Well, congratulations. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year's next week, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Great. I think that's all I got on my deck, President Deb, and thanks for participating.
Oh, thank you, SAA Eric, and thank you, Arif, for being a good sport. It has been quite fun watching it. And Mallory, absolutely. If mute could always be taken into, great. But the look on Arif's face has just been priceless. So that's going to be worth, people going on to the YouTube channel just to watch that. So this week's program. Rolly, I believe you are on somewhere. Find you here. Rolly, can you take yourself off mute?
Here I am.
There you are. So there's a video that's going to be played. Am I to understand the introduction is part of the video, or you're introducing the video? Did we lose Rolly?
He got muted again. You'll need to unmute again there, Rolly. You're back.
Am I? Am I back?
Yep.
The introduction and the thank you are both embedded in the video, thanks to Ian Pavlik's magic.
Wonderful. Okay. So that leaves us with Jeff to set up our video.
President Deb, Rotarians and guests. Our speaker today is Inspector Kevin McLean, Barrie Police Service. The topic is policing in Barrie during the pandemic. A little bit about Kevin himself. He grew up in Barrie and Oro, attended Eastview High School and Georgian College for the Law and Security program. Since childhood, he wanted to be a police officer. He started early during college, joining the Barrie Police as a summer cadet. Upon return to college, he became a member of the auxiliary program. And then off he went in 1987 to York Regional Police. In 1994, he came back home to work for the Barrie Police. He's worked in various units within the service, enjoyed each. The most enjoyable was investigative services, and in particular, organized crime investigations, including a joint force B&E team, that is break and enter to the 2% who don't know what it means, and biker enforcement unit. In 2005, Kevin was promoted to sergeant, beginning a fairly rapid ascent, and returned to uniform patrol. He worked 3 years on foot patrol in the downtown. 1 year in general patrol, 1 year as a communication supervisor. Kevin came back to criminal investigations and mentored officers with investigations. 2013, he was promoted to staff sergeant and returned to uniform patrol, supervising a platoon of patrol officers. November 19, he was transferred to operational services. Just recently, September 16, he was promoted to inspector of operational services. And relevant to the topic today, Kevin was part of the team during the COVID-19 pandemic to ensure the well-being of his members and the public, and to try to provide an excellent service to our community. If you don't mind me calling it, Kevin, when did the pandemic start, to the knowledge of Barrie Police?
Well, thank you, sir, for having me here today for this meeting for the Rotarians. Great service to the city of Barrie, and I appreciate being here and appreciate Chief Greenwood allowing me to come here. The pandemic, basically, it started, it started over in Europe in the end of December 2019. Didn't really hit Barrie until March. Famous day. We knew it was coming. We were prepared, and we were also preparing for St. Patrick's Day, which is a big event in Barrie. Fortunately, this is when the pandemic came to Barrie, and businesses closed as a result. And those that wanted to go celebrate the Irish festivities stayed home. So from a policing standpoint, we were able to deploy our members and not have a busy night during that night. I'm sure a lot of people were upset about that celebration. But in hindsight, this was a serious event, and this is when we started preparing our members to prepare for this pandemic.
So did you miss the rowdy Irish whiskey drinkers?
Well, having worked downtown, it's, I enjoy people having a good time. There are a few that take it beyond what they should, but basically to enjoy the holiday, I don't mind seeing it.
And I'm kind of joking because most of them aren't Irish. Like if you go to States, there's more one-day Irishmen than you can imagine.
There's a lot of sales at the dollar store for "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" shirts.
Yeah. Could you provide very briefly a little background on Barrie Police Services and the resources available to the public?
Yes, the Barrie Police Service is one of the oldest police services in Canada. And currently we have about 380 members made up of approximately 253 sworn and 120 civilian members. We currently have 4 divisions within the service: the operational service, operational support, executive services, and the command. We are currently located at 110 Fairview, which is our brand new police headquarters. We just moved from Sperling in March at the start of this pandemic. That itself was a trying move as well. But we have a new facility, and it's very nice to be there.
And Kevin, at the start, what did you know about the coronavirus? And in light of that, what did you do at the beginning?
Well, we knew the coronavirus was very similar to the SARS. It was an airborne disease that at this point there was no known cure. There was no known way of solving this. Very similar to a flu, but a different strain, and it was affecting a lot of people and hospitalizing a lot of people. So in order to prepare for that at the police service, we immediately, with our leader team, broke our service down into a police operational center, which daily communicated with the emergency operations center within the city of Barrie and the province to get current stats. We looked into ways of supporting our members to be healthy so that we could provide a service to the city and the community.
And what were those measures to keep your people safe so they could serve the public?
So we implemented a procedure where when out in the public, you'd be wearing a protective mask. We did get an order of N95 masks. We got an order of surgical masks, and every officer was supplied with a mask, goggles, gloves, and hand sanitization bottles to keep with them and constantly clean and wash their hands when dealing with the public, as we felt this was the best way to combat this is by cleanliness. We set up stations within the service where members would test themselves. Initially, we had the special console at the entrance to the station where every officer was tested with a thermometer to the forehead. The best known detection of this is high temperature and headaches. So everybody received a temperature check at the beginning of their shift, and then we had questions set up on a board that if they had displayed any symptoms whatsoever, they were immediately to go home, notify our human resources, and then we would arrange for testing for the COVID-19.
So what were typical calls or complaints you would get from the public?
A few of the calls we would get is from, so everybody was at home. Nobody was out and about. We would get calls from people saying that a neighbor was having a party and they were in excess of the amount of people that are allowed at the party. We would get calls about people using a public park when they weren't to use a public park. It was frustrating, I'm sure, for many people to be stuck in their homes and not be able to go out, get fresh air, take their kids for walks and go to the park. So we fielded calls as we could. There was quite a few. And we work closely with our partners with the bylaw to assist us in attending these calls and providing the education.
And I think, Kevin, you found certain investigative work that officers could do from home.
We had 2 officers working from their home that actually solved a ring of thefts from a Shoppers Drug Mart that involved a criminal organization out of the Toronto area. With that information, working with York Regional Police, the individuals were identified and arrested. And I'm proud to say that from June till now, we've had very few thefts from Shoppers Drug Mart with respect to high-end perfume, which was what the choice was for this criminal organization.
And it seems as if my experience is any indication, high-end perfume is money and meat is money.
Meat as well. The perfume, there are 2 different avenues. The perfume is being resold. The meat, shoplifting for meat products is often used by individuals to trade for drugs, is our experience here in Barrie. There'd be steaks and roasts stolen, and then that would be taken to their drug dealer in exchange for drugs.
What about domestic violence? It would seem intuitively that when couples, loving as they may be, before the pandemic, are together for the first time in maybe 20, 30, 40 years, there might be a spike in at least domestic disharmony and perhaps some domestic violence. Did you find anything to support that or not?
You know, that would be a belief. Surprisingly, though, we found the opposite. There appeared to be a lot of communications. The domestics were actually down during this pandemic period of about 22%. as much as families, what was up was bulk shopping because the families were together longer. Thus, we saw the toilet papers, the paper towels, the canned foods, everything disappeared off the shelf. Everybody was hunkering down to be together for a while. Domestics did not, they went down. There appeared to be some communications within the families. And as a matter of fact, this was an opportunity for people to save some money and do some home renovations that they may have put off for a period of time or didn't have the time to do it. Build a deck or do something, paint the house.
How about traffic enforcement?
So during this pandemic, with businesses closing, including the Ministry of Transportation, people were having difficulty renewing licenses and validation stickers because basically we were asking them not to be out on the road. They had to be home. So our traffic was down. Our provincial offenses notices were down over 23%. We weren't enforcing out of discretion based on the orders in place. And there was a memo that put out by the ministry saying that there was an exemption to those that had validations that expired if they were out and about. But the discretion was not to charge, but there was very little traffic out and about. There was very little traffic enforcement because everybody was home. Some of the calls we did field was so-and-so was going out daily. So again, that was an educational component if we attended the house, just to remind them of the order. There are emergency situations we totally understand that people need to go from A to B. And mostly that was the case.
So for people who are used to getting help, it could be rehabilitation, group therapy, 12-step meetings, and couldn't go. Did you find that isolation exacerbated their problems, or could you tell that they couldn't go live to the services they were used to?
That wasn't in the forefront an issue for us. There were still options for people to use cell phones and for those that have home phones to make contacts that way to continue their treatment. It did affect, as mentioned in my bio, I did work downtown for 3 years. That was a great opportunity to get to know the businesses and to get to know the marginalized, the homeless people, and interact with them and build a rapport. And that really benefited during this time in my role at that time as the supervisor of the downtown. We currently, as everyone's aware, have Arnett Construction redoing the downtown Dunlop Street corridor. This actually pandemic assisted with that construction because there was no traffic. They were able to work faster and get more work done. However, it did push some of the individuals that hung out downtown, for good or bad, outside of the downtown area. And the place that everybody congregated and started residing was Milligan's Pond.
And can you explain where that is for people who aren't familiar with Milligan's Pond?
Milligan's Pond at one point was the central point of Barrie. It is located on Perry Street in the Innisfil Street and Vesper Street areas. It's a large pond area that's tree covered, and it's accessible by Innisfil Street, Perry Street, and at the dead end of Boyce Street. It's the city had in the past made a walking path, and it is a nice place to take a walk, and it's very peaceful. There's a stream running through there that winds its way out to Lake Simcoe and to Kempfell Bay. Plenty of area in there was taken up by these individuals to set up encampments.
So what was your approach to the people who were set up there?
So from our perspective, first and foremost was their well-being. We would often attend down there, as we would meet with them on foot patrol downtown, but we would attend down there to ensure, A, they were healthy. If they needed any services, there was services available at this time for them. There was the Busby services. There's Lucy's Place on Essa Road. First and foremost, we want to make sure they were healthy. We understood they were marginalized, and we weren't victimizing them at all. We were assisting them, and they are members of our community. My role downtown previously assisted in this when I met them. I knew quite a few of them from working downtown and fortunately meeting them at the station off and on. But the rapport was there, and it was non-confrontational. We just, we knew there was something coming. There is a bylaw in place at the time in the city. You cannot camp within the city of Barrie. We weren't issuing bylaw tickets. Bylaw wasn't at the time, but it did become an issue with the city and with some people within the city. Our role in that was just to make them aware of what was coming and assist them best we could, provide them services, and with Connect Core or with the Busby Center, like I mentioned, they did take over the Comfort Inn on Essa Road and had opportunities to have a room. In my conversation with a lot of these individuals at Milligan's Pond, they just didn't want to be in a structured environment. They'd rather be out on their own. So we just made sure that they were aware of the options and that their health and well-being.
I believe in the US they call them deaths of despair. I have a friend who's a paramedic who commented on two things. For a long time, there were people who weren't willing to go to the hospital. We should have, for heart problems or whatever. And then eventually there was an uptick to him in suicides and overdoses. I think you may have a different slant on it from your statistics.
Well, with respect to the those that, it's unfortunate that they have a medical issue and don't want to attend the hospital to seek treatment. That is not something that we would experience daily. If there was a 911 call for help, it is redirected to the appropriate service, which in this case would be the paramedic services. And they would attend that call. Unfortunately, we get the call if the paramedics does attend and there is a sudden death, and we attend to ascertain if there's a criminal element to this or if it's an overdose as a result of a drug use or abuse. The information that I have from the visits to the emergency department for opioid poisonings by the Simcoe Muskoka hospitals is that, in fact, they are down for 2020 over 2019, the visits to the hospitals. Not by much, but the only month which had an increase was January. The remaining months up to including July, the numbers were down that visited the hospitals. With respect to overdoses, we have a report from the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit. Barrie decreased from 2017 to 2019. In 2017, we did have the highest opioid deaths. In the first half of 2020, we had 19 confirmed opioid deaths within the first 5 months, compared to 26 at that time, or total for 2019. We were aware at one point there was a bad strain of heroin that was on our streets. And our criminal investigations and drug units were working diligently to find out what they could about this bad strain of heroin. The user is not aware of what they're purchasing. So the supplier is the one that is causing the harm, and that's what our unit is looking for, to find out who these are. But that culture is very hard to get into and determine where it's coming from.
So can you give an example of the composition?
Well, the heroin
drug that people get as opposed to what they think they're getting during this time frame?
Sure. A lot of our meth smokers actually were getting, it was laced with fentanyl, which is a very powerful drug and causing death. And we found that in information received from some sources downtown was that the heroin was being laced with a drug that is commonly used by farmers to assist with deworming animals. Why that was inserted in heroin, I have no idea. But it's almost similar to the crocodile drug that was in Russia years ago, where it would start eating away at the skin. It caused lesions. This wasn't a large group that we saw doing this, but it was a relatively few people. So purple heroin is out there. That is laced with fentanyl. And the dosage people are using, they just don't know. And unfortunately, it has caused the death of overdose of a lot of people.
Which is vulnerability in another way based on how much money I have, because I believe Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones said the reason he's lived so long is he could afford to buy the purest drugs and monitor them carefully.
Yes, and that is...
and the rest of us can buy prescription drugs.
Right. I know this is a big topic right now with the Canadian Association Chiefs of Police, the Ontario Association Chiefs of Police, with respect to decriminalization of serious drugs, with the effect of being that if you were to get your, medically prescribed heroin from a pharmaceutical services, you're getting a dosage that is controlled. So the same as legalizing marijuana, there were still individuals that are selling it, growing it and selling it, and we see that daily as well. There are laws with respect to personal consumption, and we deal with that daily.
So Kevin, the very few in-person social gatherings I've gone to have started really well and with the best of intentions. And as the event went on, they deteriorated, either because we're social animals and want to be closer to other people, or because of alcohol, or because of cockiness, because the first wave seemed to be passing. Do you have any observations on that? Human foible.
Absolutely, we are social people. This was new. This, the new terminology, the new norm came out during the pandemic of being in your home, being alone. And when people start to get out, we are social animals. We want to interact with people. That is fine. We've had meetings as well where if you cannot maintain your 2-meter distance, you are to wear a mask. That is the new norm. You go everywhere, you're carrying a mask. I've seen many people at a grocery store in line at Costco walking up, and then you see the look on their face, and they turn around and they forgot their mask. They had to go back to the car. We do want to get out and meet people. As much as families were building rapport, we still have friends that we want to communicate with in person. But we still have to be cognizant of the fact that the numbers indicate the highest violators in this were under 40 years of age, from 18 to 40. We've seen it last week at Wasaga Beach. There was a car rally, and many people came from Quebec. And the officers that were there were doing the best they could to control this situation. But from an officer I had there, they said that people in Quebec said, we're not wearing masks. They're coming from another province. And these people are all getting together for a common purpose, for a car show. And the potential for infection was there.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I think we may be approaching our time. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I understand with the Rotary meetings, often I would see them gathering at the South Shore Center on Thursdays, probably around the lunch hour. And I understand lunch is served with Rotary members. And that was one of the hooks that got me to come to this today. But I do appreciate.
I'm sorry about that. I may be able to provide you with some food after, perhaps a takeout sandwich.
well, once we get back to normal, I know Thursdays are the meetings. But I do appreciate this opportunity today, and I just want everybody to, until this is overcome, and it may be a long time, just to continue practicing social ethics and wear our masks.
So thank you, Inspector Kevin McLean, as you now are. And thank you, Pavlik, for the use of your boardroom and your recording skills, which are a marvel to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have Baz. Baz?
Thank you, President Deb. I want to thank Rolly for conducting that very interesting interview, and Officer Kevin McLean for the time he spent highlighting how our local police force has responded. I was especially intrigued with the numbers, the 22% reduction in domestics, which goes against what you kind of expect, or what I expected in this shutdown. I really appreciate the effort that our police force puts into using solid information to do the work to keep our community safe and hale. And I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart from being a dedicated police officer and doing such a great job for us. And thanks for the presentation today.
Thank you, Baz. Now I just did send out on the chat Officer McLean's email. He had offered that after this talk, if anybody had any questions or any concerns, something like that, to definitely reach out to him, send him off an email, and he'll be happy to respond. So thank you so much, Rolly, for coordinating that. It's always interesting, the speakers that you bring to the table, and thank you for your time in prepping it. Oh, we have, I'm not sure what next week's program is, sorry.
No.
We're not sure yet. It'll be a surprise, tune in. We're going with the flow. So we do have a certificate of appreciation that we will pass on to Detective McLean there, and there it is. And as everyone knows by now, we're 6 months into this, that the guest speaker does receive a certificate, donation for polio plus vaccinations, and a donation towards the fight against COVID-19. So we'll be sure to get that over to him. So President Deb's Stronger Together, Together Inspired Moment. Now we do have a picture. We'll let Jeff get to that. So a new year, new together moments that motivates the world. So 2003, oh, yeah, there we go. 2003, the Human Genome Project, HGP, one of the most ambitious projects ever undertaken by the scientific community, a multi-billion-dollar 13-year effort to map the 3 billion DNA letters in the human genome. The Human Genome Project, an international scientific research project on the goal of determining the base pairs that make up human DNA, and of identifying and mapping all of the genes of the human genome from both a physical and functional standpoint. A milestone that helped spur major new directions in research, launch thousands of businesses, and create hundreds of treatments and diagnostic tools. Among the breakthroughs, therapies targeting certain forms of blindness and cystic fibrosis, genetic tests that predict the effectiveness of breast cancer chemotherapy, drug cocktails for hepatitis C, and advanced prenatal testing and preconception carrier screening. Thanks to such work, the overall economic impact of the Human Genome Project is an estimated $966 billion. It remains the world's largest collaborative biological project. So something new and interesting to start out the new year. And it is really incredible when not only Rotarians get together, but scientists around the world get together. Can certainly make a difference. So having no other business, Rotary business, I declare this meeting adjourned. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, you too.